Football, by the hell.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Mag 247. You're joined by me, Jono, Killian as my co-host again. How are you, mate?
Oh, good, brother. All good. Ready to rock.
We have Dazza, Phil, and Masood. Welcome back, guys.
Hi, everyone.
We got 3 points.
Thank God.
What a relief.
That's all about.
Never in doubt.
Yeah, we definitely needed that. So we'll go right into the game. Do you want to kick us off, Killian?
Yeah, so I suppose in terms of performances, yeah, left a lot to be desired again. But here, listen, as we stated, 3 points is 3 points, absolutely invaluable. Notes for the game that I had, back five, solid enough. With that said, Fulham didn't have too much going forward, so it wasn't never really looked in jeopardy the losing the game, should I say. But Onana had to produce a couple of good saves. We did look a bit shaky from time to time, but got through them little spells. Hats off to Maguire again, a leading light again. Delo had a decent enough game. Oh, not too bad. Wan-Bissaka, delighted to have him back. Such a relief. I think he added to the steal. And also, the combination between the partnership with Maguire and Evans, solid. Midfield, it's tough. It's tough. We get overrun very easy. But here, listen. Bruno to the rescue. All the haters have it. Take that one, son. And then McTominay gives us all, does his best. Garnacho, he's a star in the making. We know this. Everything going forward was sort of, he was always involved, and he was a spark. And just really happy to see him start finally. I think well deserved. And yeah, I saw him specifically doing a lot of defensive duties. I remember there was one, he went for a 50-50, lost the ball and sprinted back and put the player under immense pressure, and we won the ball back eventually. Anthony, I know we'll come to this later on. The boy needs to be dropped out of the firing line. Just not meeting the standards. Similar enough to Rashford, to be fair. But as I said, we'll come to that later on. Pellistri comes on, another cameo, another heavily involved in the goal. You could say he assisted the goal more or less, but the boys work right. And for me, again, he needs a run of games. He deserves a run of games. And I think, like Rashford being dropped, or I know they're saying through injury and whatnot, but he needs a run of games, Pellistri, and I think he deserves it. And then Højlund, again, tried his best, but just not getting feeding, living off scraps, But anyway, 3 points, main point. Thank God we got the win, and I'm sure one person in the name of Erik ten Hag is a very relieved man.
Before we move on to Dazza, you mentioned Scott McTominay there. He obviously he had his goal chalked offside for was offside. What did you think of the offside call?
No comment. No, here, listen. Same shit, different day, bro. I can't say enough about VAR. It's getting to the point where it's beyond an agenda, beyond a conspiracy, and the only word that comes to my mind is corruption. But here, listen, it is what it is. We need to look after ourselves, make sure VAR doesn't get mentioned, are involved. It doesn't affect the result of the game. Luckily, this time round it didn't, but it easily could have. That goal should have stayed. But to be fair, I know we've been done a good few times this season, and as United fans, we're very angry and frustrated at the way VAR is and against us, but we're not the only team. There are other teams. We saw it yesterday as well. But anyway, yeah, get rid of her.
We've also got a comment in chat for you from AZ.
So, yeah, Top Cat, are you trying for the Mexican porn star look with the mustache? So this mustache is for Movember. And people that don't know, for the viewers or listeners, Movember is for Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's also for men's cancer research. The two main cancers that men suffer from is prostate and testicular cancer. So check the footballs, lads, and get them looked at by a doctor from time to time. So your health is all good. But yeah, no, that's why I'm rocking the porn stash.
Moving to Dazza next. What was your thoughts on the game, Dazza?
Firstly, a big shout out to Big Top Cat. We love you, Tony boy. Yeah, very much similar to Killian, actually. I was absolutely delighted for the result. Delighted for Eric Ten Hag, to be honest with you. I'm a big Ten Hag in. I don't understand that these people that just want to churn managers constantly. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. We all know what the problems are with the club. I was delighted. I've written in my notes here when I was watching the game. Delighted for the defensive-minded players to get that clean sheet, and more so delighted for Onana. I think in the last 2 weeks I've seen a big upturn in him. He looks to be more, and he's still got a way to go. He's not there yet, but he looks to be commanding his box more. You've seen a couple of crosses at the weekend, and he was coming out for them, taking them. He's starting to creep outside the box, starting to become that sweeper keeper. I think confidence is growing in him, and I'm really delighted for it. Over the moon to see Wan-Bissaka back, and I think Pellistri needs a run of games now. Anthony will come on to in a bit. I've got a wee bit of talking about Anthony for later on, but right now it's just about grinding out results. Seeing you've not got your back four. See, if you take away Man City's back four, they would struggle. If you take away any team's back four, they would struggle. So right now, 3 points, get them on the board, and we move. The performances will come. They will come. As for VAR, Jono, VAR's killing the game. I'd be quite happy with like the offside rule that they use in the Champions League, the automated Hawkeye, and the goal line technology, and nothing else. But anyway, that's probably for another day. But no, delighted for 3 points. Like I said, performance means nothing just now. Just get the win, get moving.
100% agree, especially on the VAR. I do know a ref that works with us at Talks. Let's Talk Sport. I will try and get him on the podcast, and we can see try and explain to us some of these decisions that seem to not be going our way. I'm sure he'll do for that for me, so I'll get in contact with him. Yeah. Moving on to Masood now. Welcome, Masood. Just a big shout to Michael in the chat as well. Let's go, Dazza. Welcome, Michael. And Masood next. How are you?
Good, thanks, Jono. Much like everybody's said before, happy with the 3 points. My one-word description of the game would be relieved. But at the moment, we just need points and results more than performances. So I was quite happy with the result. And whenever United score a last-minute goal, it's always sweeter. So whatever frustration you had throughout the 90 minutes just sort of disappears for a while, because if you can't celebrate the last-minute winner, that's what I grew up on. So I was actually delighted with that. I was actually driving home from work when that happened. So I was actually listening to the commentary while driving. Luckily, I didn't see it because I probably would have driven off the road. But I was quite relieved at the result. Much like Kilo and as I've said before, happy with the back four. And with Onana as well, like as I said, he's getting a bit of confidence now, and it's coming game by game, and which will be to our advantage as well. And I just think we need a run of games where we're not changing the back four, just to get some confidence in the back four, and then that sort of seeps through to the rest of the team. If you start at the back and then your midfielders and then your forwards will take, will get better as well, and they can live off that back four's confidence, and that can go throughout the team as well. Look, midfield we're struggling quite a bit. I hope we can get Kobe Mainu match fit where we can put him into the team. And it's just a matter of getting confidence throughout the team. There's just a few individuals who are just suffering from a lack of form, lack of confidence. It's just a matter of us getting them all on the same page. And the more we grind out results, as I said earlier, performances will come. As long as we just keep working hard and grinding, for now it's fine. It's just a matter of getting up the table and taking it game by game. So yeah, I was just pretty relieved at the performance. My standout for the game yesterday was definitely Harry Maguire. He was immense yesterday, especially after taking that knock so early on in the game as well. But he was a beast yesterday. I mean, him and Evans were solid in the back. Dello, he still has some lapses in concentration defending. Other than that, he was fine, and I'm great. It's great to see Wan-Bissaka back as well. I mean, we've actually missed him on the right back slot. In terms of the forwards, like said with Hoyland, he's just feeding off scraps at the moment. It's just that our attacking players are not playing with confidence, or we're always taking the wrong options when we're attacking and stuff. So for me, it's just as soon as we get confidence in our attackers and we get a game where we can score a few goals and build confidence, I think everything will click into place. But yeah, that's the thoughts on the games. And with regards to the VAR decision, for me, the game would have been completely different had the goal stood. We might have maybe had a better or more comfortable victory, scoring so early on in the game. Because that's what tends to happen to us throughout the season, where we don't take our chances early on, and then the game goes on, and then most of the time we concede, and then it's difficult to get back into the game. So for us to get a goal early, I think that would have helped us tremendously yesterday, especially being away from home. But yeah, John, just relieved at the victory, and hopefully we can build on from there.
Couldn't say it better myself. We're now going to move on to Phil. How are you feeling, Phil?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Again, just repeat what everybody else has said. It's 3 points was the main thing for yesterday. The more pleasing thing for me was seeing players coming back and the likes of Maguire having a very, very good game. I think it's more we're grinding out games at the moment, and there's no expectations for us to perform. We're not delivering those performances, but we'll touch upon that at some point later on, I guess. But 3 points was a major plus for me. And if you think about it, we're only amazingly 6 points behind the two title contenders with Arsenal and Liverpool, which is, considering how poor we've been, and everyone's writing us off, and Eric Ten Hag out, we're 6 points behind one of the top fours. It's incredible. So it's not all doom and gloom. Yeah, last week was pretty poor. It was two big defeats. But I think yesterday was a game that we just needed to get over the line. And I did have worries until Bruno pops up and proves all those haters wrong. But yeah, it's kind of a performance where you think, yeah, great, 3 points. Didn't enjoy watching it, but again, like Dad said, we move on. For me, but the major plus for me was Aaron Wan-Bissaka made such a difference, and Harry Maguire, hats off to him yesterday. He had an absolute stormer yesterday, and all credit to him, to be fair.
Yeah, well done, fellow. Very well said. Just before we move back to Jono on his thoughts on the match, I just have a match report. Obviously, one of our Mag 24/7 Reds, Benno, couldn't make it tonight, but his report is as follows. Better with the ball, but created nothing. Maguire, standout performer and worked very well with Evans. Midfield, overrun with the ball. Players playing with fear it was as if they wanted to take it as deep as possible and then attack. Anthony needs removing and out of the spotlight. Bruno didn't have a great game, but he was having more joy trying to influence in his strongest position, not playing on the right wing. And he also says, is it a coincidence that we keep a clean sheet when Aaron Wan-Bissaka starts? And Højlund didn't have a great game, but again, 0 service and a win's a win. So that's Benno's match report. Nice one for Benno. We're back to Jono. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think you've all covered it there. I thought when Pellistri came on again, he was solid. I think he's got to be starting at the moment. As we say, Anthony's needs dropping. I'd start Højlund up top with Pellistri and Garnacho. I think that is probably our strongest at the moment on confidence. So that's what I'll go up top. Congratulations to Bruno as well. 200th game for Manchester United, scoring the winner and at a time on his 200th game and shutting up some of the haters, which we'll get onto in a bit. A win's a win. Not a great performance, but we move on to Copenhagen. I think you've covered it all already, guys. Yeah.
100%. So I just wanted to ask yourself, Jono, we'll kick it off with yourself. So what's more important, the result or the win? Or the performance?
I'd honestly say the win. Even under Sir Alex Ferguson, there was times when we were winning leagues that we were not playing well, but we'd grind out results. And to win trophies, you need to do that. You need to win. Like City have not been great this season. Some points, some games they have not been good, but they're grinding out results even if they don't play well. I know they lost a few games a couple of weeks back, but they're getting results even they're not up to their normal amazing standard. You've just got to keep on going and get that result however you can.
Yeah, 100%. I think at this stage, because the pressure is really on top of Ten Hag at the minute, it's just it's a points business at the minute. We just get the points. Throw the performance. For me, the performance can go in the bin. Couldn't give a shite about the performance. I think it's really important at the minute just to grind out these wins. Again, for Copenhagen, I know we're going to discuss it, but again, that a same performance as Fulham, I'll take a 1-0 all day. You know, we just need to grind out these wins, and hopefully, if we gain a bit of a momentum, then we can maybe start looking at kicking on in terms of performance. But right now, we just need them 3 points each game. Daza, what you reckon?
I'm the exact same. Like Jono said, I remember the days when we were churning out results under Ferguson and winning leagues and competing for leagues and Champions Leagues and all that. We weren't particularly playing well. If people remember back in the day, Fergie's last few years, we were screaming out for the midfield to be sorted. Michael Carrick needed help in there, and it never kind of happened. But we still churned and churned and churned. And I think it's a good habit to be in because performance will come. You just need to get the points. You need to stay in there. And I think Erik Ten Hag, he's like a boxer. He's just staying in there now, just jabbing away, jabbing away, jabbing away, jabbing away. He's just jabbing away, and when he gets his full team out, that's when the overhand right's going to come, and that's what will happen. Just jabbing away.
Very good metaphor there, Daza. Will we start calling them Jabba the Hutt? Will we? Philo, what are your thoughts, performance-wise? Would you go for? Obviously, we're in a results business here, and at the end of the day, the results keep managers in the job. Were you too bothered with the performance, or what are your thoughts?
I was up until we scored. No, 3 points. Bottom line, that's all we need. Look, we know we're a team that aren't gelling. We're basically struggling to get a flow into our gameplay, the passing. But it's coming because obviously you can see Maguire yesterday pinging balls across the flanks, and his passing game yesterday was absolutely spot on. So I think once they start gelling together a little more, we haven't had a solid starting 11 across the 18 months with Ten Hag. I couldn't literally tell you our first 11 this season. So with Aaron Wan-Bissaka coming back, hopefully Mount coming back into the fold, Rashford having a bit of a kick up the backside, it will generate performances. I'm not too fussed about the performances at the minute. I'm not too bothered about sitting here enjoying the games. All I want to know is that we're going to get the 3 points at the end of it, because that's what we need at the moment. We can't afford to lose any more games, especially against Copenhagen. It's a vital must-win game if we're going to stay in the Champions League. So bottom line for me is 3 points, and I'll quite happily shit house a game for 3 points. Excuse my French.
100%. 100% there. Masood?
Before we go to Masood, Dazzy, you've got a comment there from the chat.
Yeah, but TC's just put in there all these 1-0s are momentum builders, which builds confidence, which in turn builds performance. Remember, I mean, for the younger viewers, right, and the younger listeners, go back to when Eric Cantona was playing. And we won a league in '96, I think it was. And I think we won 10 or 12 games, 1-0.
1-0. Mm-hmm.
You know, we weren't playing well, but Eric would just pop up, goal, goal, goal.
Do you remember Fergie? Under Fergie, later on, not the Cantona years, but later on when we won the league, I think we won 1-0 against, I don't know how many games. It was outrageous, but just 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. Yeah. And we ended up winning the league that season, and that was a huge part. I think it was the final third of the season. I can't remember what year it was.
Yeah.
But it was amazing.
Yep. 1-0. I'll take 1-0. Arsenal used to sing 1-0 to the Arsenal. So,
1-0, 9-0. It's all the same. 3 points, 3 points.
3 points, baby. It's all about 3 points.
Sorry, Masood, what are your thoughts?
No, it's like I said earlier. The match was relief. So at the moment, I'll take results. Like everyone has said, I mean, everyone's in agreement. These sort of games build confidence, and the more you do it, the better it permeates throughout the team. So it gets better and better and better. And once everyone starts playing with confidence, we can express ourselves more. And like Benno mentioned in his match report, is that guys are playing with fear because of no one knows what's happening around the club. The uncertainty.
They're afraid to make a mistake and be the scapegoat if we lose.
Exactly, and the problem at the moment with the social media around United fans and the media itself in general is that if you make a mistake, it's spotlight.
Masood, I think your internet connection's cut out. I think you're having internet problems, bro.
No,
it's very broken. Yeah. You're back.
Okay, no. So what I was saying was these sort of things where you don't want to make a mistake because you don't want to be the one that's getting the pelters on social media, in the media itself, and become the next scapegoat, because it's easy to put scapegoats with United in the media at the moment. So it's just that avoiding that as well. But at the moment, like everyone has said, it's just building momentum. Because going throughout the season, we're coming to that December-January period where most teams will sort of get injuries and sort of tiredness will start creeping in. So teams will lose form as well. So that's where we sort of, maybe with all this hard training that the players are complaining about, it will help us in the long run towards the end of the season as well.
Sorry, Masood, I think your internet connections keeps dropping for some reason.
I'm probably
want to maybe drop out and come back?
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, no problem. No issues, yeah. Jono, what do you reckon?
All right, sure.
So in terms of, obviously we're all in agreement. Points are the most important thing here. Above the performance, I think. As TC commented, keep the 1-0s coming and build momentum. You know, a win's a win, and we keep moving and keep trucking and just get those 3 points under our belt week on week. And just in terms of Eric Ten Hag's security in his job, what are our thoughts on that? We'll fire off with Jono and then go to Daz and Daz and finish with myself. Do we think his job is on the line here? Is it under threat, or is it just all noise from the media? What do you reckon, Jono?
I think he's safe for now, because with the situation around the ownership and the uncertainty around that, I think even if he wasn't under pressure, they wouldn't make a change till the new ownership is in. Because say it is Sturgeon, which it is looking like it will be, he will want a say on that. Or if it's Qatar, they will want to say on that. So you can't just sack a manager and then a week later announce a new ownership, because they're not going to be happy about it. So for that reason, I don't think he is. But with this club's history, we know if it gets to the point that Champions League qualification is in doubt, that is when they could make a change. But at the moment, fully backing him, and I think his job's safe. What about you, Killian? Yeah. We have got some comments in chat as well.
Yeah. I think that's in reference to Maguire. Now we will we'll come to that after we answer this or finish with this point. Just I think it's, listen, we're Manchester United. Pardon my French, we're fucking massive. We're still the biggest club on the planet, in my opinion. It doesn't matter that we're not very good on the pitch. Off the pitch, we're always the headline. Always. Hated, adored, never ignored. Manchester United. You know, that's it. So the media knows that clicks. This is going to get clicks and likes and comments and debates and blah, blah, fucking blah. No. His job isn't on the line, in my opinion. He worked miracles last season. This was always going to be a possibility that it plateaued, and there was going to... It's a rough ride. It's always going to be a bit of a roller coaster. Look at Sir Alex.
His record, actually, the media. I don't know if you saw his record as well. First, quickest United manager to get to 50 wins.
Ever. He has a bigger win percentage rate at the minute than any other manager, including Sir Alex. So it's just noise. The media know, the journalist knows that they're going to cause uproar and tension and whatnot. Here, listen. There's always a crisis, that they like to call it, at Manchester United after a couple of losses. Here, listen. Liverpool, from the last 7 games, correct me if I'm wrong, I saw a stat earlier, 8 points from the last 7 games. Manchester United have 9 points in their last 7 games. But we're in crisis. But the lads over in Anfield, no problem. Klopp's the Messiah, you know what I mean?
Arsenal have only got 1 more win than us.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we're Manchester United. We sell everything, you know. Just drop our name in the hat and you're gonna sell things. But yeah, no, Eric Ten Hag under the microscope. Yes, of course he is. Is his job under threat? In my opinion, no. But with that said, I do see TC making a comment there, just in reference to Ten Hag's job. Sure, the Glazers wouldn't be able to sack him because they don't have any money. So his job's grand anyway. You know, we can't afford to sack him even if they wanted to. But here, listen, no. Sorry, I'm rambling here, but no, not for me. He's fine.
We got a funny comment from Benno in chat as well. Rumours has it the stress is causing Eric to grow his hair.
I had a similar problem years back. Then I went to Turkey.
I was going to say, did you go to Turkey as well?
No,
what's your thoughts, Daz?
Yeah. I think most of you around the table know my view. I'm wholeheartedly Eric Ten Hag in. I genuinely don't believe his job was even up for discussion. But over the last few weeks, I think if this run of results had been happening with no injury crisis, then we might be having a different discussion. And I think, although the Glazers are assholes and we know that, right? John Murtagh is a football man, whether you like him or not. He's a football man. Darren Fletcher's a football man, and they feed up to Richard Arnold. And Richard Arnold, whether you like him or not, he's not a silly dude, right? And they know, and Ten Hag got the job based on him telling them it's going to be a 3 to 5 year project, right? And there's going to be ups and downs, and there's going to be moments where you're going to have to stick by him, and we have to stick by him. And I've got some stats here, and this is for Arsenal and Liverpool fans who are enjoying themselves now. Klopp at Liverpool, season 1 finished 8th, 1-0. Season 2 finished 4th, 1-0. Season 3 finished 4th. Season 4 he finished 2nd. Arteta at Arsenal, season 1 he finished 8th and won an FA Cup. Season 2 he finished 8th. Season 3 he finished 5th. And season 4 he finished 2nd. Ten Hag's first season finished 3rd, 2 cup finals and 1 cup in the bag. You've got to trust the process. It takes time. He's working with 4 different managers, mishmash of players at times. He's working with a back 4 that we knew wasn't good enough 3 years ago. So let's give the guy a bit of time. Let's, as a fan base, be more resolute. Stop being reactionary. Look at the bigger picture. Get a bit of perspective and back the manager. That's my view.
100%, Daz. I love it.
Benno here with a comment. I love it when Dazza brings the stats to the table.
Statman Dazza.
I love it. I've got them all written.
Forget Statman Dave. It's Statman Dazza now, bro.
Love a stat.
Philo, what do you reckon?
If yours a stat right now, at this point last season, same point, United, same amount of points.
Yeah.
So
there you go. The media love to try and make a mountain out of a molehill when it comes to United. But so Philo, what do you reckon? Do you reckon it's just all media noise, or do you think Eric's under pressure, severe pressure, or Masood?
No, I don't think I agreed with TC's comment there. We can't afford to sack a manager now. Well, they don't have the money to. And who do you replace him with? And then what does he do with all the 300 million pounds worth of players that Ten Hag bought? How do we sell them when we can't sell players that are playing? I mean, just until De Gea and Phil Jones left, we've had players that have been just since Alex Ferguson. So that says a lot. So no chance. I've always been Eric Ten Hag in. I love the way the man operates. He's just brilliant. He's not everyone's cup of tea, and that'll do for me. I just love him to bits. He's going through a tough time at the moment, but yeah, we can't afford to sack him. And like Dazza says, trust the process. Trust the process.
I'd rather be someone's cup of tea than everyone's glass of champagne.
Beautiful.
Love it.
Beautiful comment. I love that. So next we have got.
We had a comment there from earlier on. Let me just try and find it. It was just in relation to Harry Maguire. So
yeah.
Based on form with all the, so Benno asked, based on form with all the defenders, is the centre-back position now Harry Maguire's to lose? Now, I'll just throw me 2 cents in there real quick. I think it is his to lose now. Leitch, we don't know when he's coming back. It's long-term. I love Varane, the Rolls-Royce, the French Rolls-Royce, love him to bits, but for just every week, there seems to be something, if it's a niggle, if it's, I don't know, he's just a bit unreliable at the minute, I would say. So that narrows it down to Maguire, Lindelof and Evans. And I think he's really come up trumps when we've needed people to step up. Him, especially himself and McTominay, but at the back, you know what, I'll go as far to say he's looking the way he looked at Leicester when he got called up for England. Very prominent, winning headers, winning a lot of 50-50s, just looking very solid and as Philo mentioned earlier, switching it from left to right, crossfield balls, perfectly passing, moving forward a bit, sort of the instigator or the catalyst from back to front, and just really acting like a leader.
Do you think a big part of that was that Ollie gave him the captaincy too early?
Yeah, as
he
know,
looks a different player since it's been scrapped.
Yeah, we all know how heavy that captain's armband, especially the jersey alone, is so heavy for certain players. A lot of players come to United and just fold, and to give someone the captain's armband so early in their Manchester United career, massive responsibility. Yeah, it came to a bit of a head and it sort of didn't work out, but he's come on leaps and bounds. The man has been scrutinised from pillar to post, from the media, fans everywhere, and we talk about getting the head down, never complaining, being a proper professional, top-notch pro. I'll name drop Aaron Wan-Bissaka in there as well, but hats off to Harry Maguire. I'm really happy for the man, and we need him now. And but back to the question, yeah, I believe it's his to lose now, and I think he'll get better every week now. And I'm really relieved and delighted for the boy.
Yep, I agree.
Apologies,
another comment from Benno as well, saying sadly Maguire will always be judged on his price tag. And Michael says we need to sign a centre back in January, which I think we can all agree we need cover there.
To Debo.
Yep, I think especially if it's Ineos, I think that is a very high possibility. That will trigger some people, I think. But yeah, what's your thoughts, Dazza, on the Harry Maguire situation?
On Maguire, I think he's done. I think he has done amazingly to kind of salvage where he was. I also have to give props to Ten Hag. I think it gets missed a lot. He made that big decision to take the captaincy away from him, but do it in a dignified way to not lose the player. Because I think it would have been really easy to lose the player. And I think Ten Hag's managed that situation really well, as he has with other difficult situations. I think he covered it himself in his post-match interview where he said that he'll pick players on form. And he's delighted with Maguire because you can see the confidence in Maguire. He's learning the Ten Hag way of playing. He's coming out with the ball more, crossfield passing more. He's been that dominant centre-half, but also cute on the ball. And I think, yep, it's his to lose. It's his to lose for now. And that's all I'll say.
Well said, does it? Same question to Philo.
Evidently, it's his position to lose. There's nobody else that can fit in at this point in time. Varane, I personally think he's coming towards the end of his United career. I think this will be the last season with us. Lindelof, bang average. So yeah, it's Maguire's place to lose now. But you've got to look back at this. I think this isn't the first player that Ten Hag's done this with. He's literally revived Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He was literally on his way out the door. He's revived Scott McTominay. And he's done the same with Harry Maguire. And he's also brought them in when we've needed them, and they performed when we've needed them to as well. So it's kind of it's testament to Ten Hag's man management. And I know a lot of people don't agree with his man management, but for what he's done with those three players, I thought Aaron Wan-Bissaka was gone at the beginning of last season. Head down, got back into the squad, and now he's more or less a sure starter. And I think that's the road that Maguire's going down currently.
Do you think? I might open up this for discussion. Do you think, you just touch upon Erik Ten Hag's man management, and do you think the likes of the players that have responded to his maybe hard-line approach, like the McTominays and the Maguires and the Wan-Bissakas, but then we look at the likes of the Sanchos and I hate to say it, but the Rashfords. Do you think what why do you think some have responded and maybe some haven't? And what do you reckon, Phil?
Because we can't sell them on. They've got nowhere else to go. Sancho will get a move within January. You can guarantee there'll be a load of clubs coming for them. We couldn't shift Maguire. Nobody came in for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and nobody's coming for Scott McTominay. Or if West Ham did, we couldn't agree a fee with them anyway. So they kind of got no choice but to get their heads down and kick on, because otherwise they won't play week in, week out. And that's my personal opinion. Rashford, I don't know what's going on with Rashford at the moment. It's almost as if he needs this break. But if he don't come back in, but see, I questioned him when he done this in 2021, and I said I'd rather us just sell him. And then next season, I had to eat humble pie. So I'm not going there again. I'm not going there again, because I know he will bounce back. But I personally think with those three players, I think they've got no choice but to get their head down and kick on, because we can't sell players anyway, and they know that.
Yeah, we're rubbish at it.
Yeah. Rubbish at it. Just in terms of selling players, though, we paid a hefty fee for a Brazilian. His name is Anthony. He's the boss's son, footballing son. He isn't doing great, and I think it needs to be discussed. Masood, I'll come to you first, and then we'll maybe go to Jono, and then swing around back to Daz, and then Phil. What do you think? What do you think's the problem, and does he need to be taken out of the firing line?
I think he definitely needs to be taken out of the team. But look, on a personal level, he's a human being, and what he's been through in the last few months, if we were in his position and playing for Man United, I'm not sure we can handle it as well. So from that perspective, it's difficult to say. But sometimes when you go through something, it's just natural as a human being. You have to try too hard, and when you try too hard, you don't do the basics. You don't do everything well as well. So for me, it's a difficult one. But he definitely needs to be taken out of the team for now, just to sort of get his head back, and maybe he doesn't need to go to play for Brazil that's coming up, the next international break that's coming up, and maybe he just needs to take a break and just clear his mind as well. But for now, he needs to be put on the bench just to get himself out of the limelight, because any small thing where he makes a mistake, it gets amplified tenfold. So I'd rather just leave him on the bench for a while and give Pedestri a run of games. Or even you play Mount on the right just for now. I mean, that's another player that we signed that hasn't sort of kicked on as we thought he would. But yeah, and Anthony does need to be just taken out of the firing line for now.
Very good. Daza, thoughts?
Yeah, so I've actually, in preparation for this, I've written down a whole myriad of stuff for Anthony, right? And I'm not going to say half of it, because Masood's covered a wee bit of it. My opening headline was his head's gone. It cannot be underestimated the mental stress that boy's been under for probably the best part of 4 months. Now, we know his form last season wasn't amazing, but you could see there was a player there. You could see he had that bit of shithousery about him. He had a bit of devilment about him. His form has dropped naturally because he didn't play for, I think it was 9 weeks he didn't play for. And then he's had all this other stuff in the background. And I actually think, although I wrote down here he should ride the pine for a bit, right? I actually think that Ten Hag won't drop him, because I think they're trying to play him back into a bit of fitness, a bit of form. He certainly looked a bit fitter than he did this week. And like I said, it's like the team collective. Eventually the form will come. He just needs to practice that right foot a wee bit more. But yeah, I feel sorry for him in a way, because he's been dealing with a lot of rubbish off the field. And it has hampered him. And try not to give him any kind of extra kudos or extra way outs or anything like that, but he has been dealing with a lot. I see Bruno's comment about Rashford there. Rashford for me is a totally different fish. I seen a thing yesterday where it's kind of charts Rashford's private life with his form, and when he's living with his girlfriend, he's in the best form of his life, and when he falls out with his girlfriend, he's absolute shit. So I think we need to petition his girlfriend to take him back, so we can get him back in the form of his life.
That's it. I remember. Sorry for cutting across you. I see a man hung up behind you. A fellow Scot that used to always try to get his players to marry early. Settle down early, brother.
Yeah.
Why was that? That's the head. Yeah.
So that, I think that's, obviously he's not with her just now. So he's out partying. He's doing things he shouldn't be doing. He's falling into the same habits, same traps. I know we're talking about Anthony, but Rashford for me, you all know my thoughts. He's not good enough for us. He's not good enough.
I very good points there, Daz, and well-rounded and well-balanced there, because I won't lie to you, I totally forgot about the whole being out for 9 weeks. I obviously, and Masood and yourself as well, pointed out greatly there that the whole debacle in the limelight with the papers that we won't go into, obviously, but it had a massive effect on him mentally. So, yeah, great points. But it seems as if it should be Pellistri's time, and I think the boy, in my opinion, deserves
a shot.
Yeah, I think he deserves a run of games, because, like Garnacho, when he's been drip fed into the first team, he has had an effect. He got an assist yesterday, and his work rate for me is incredible. I just love his work rate and drive. Same with Garnacho on the left. They're young boys, but they're breaking their, pardon me French, they're breaking their bollocks, for the team, and you can't ask more,
Can I say another outsider on that as well?
Yeah.
Ahmed's back in training.
Delighted to hear that, Jono.
Obviously, he had an amazing season last season with Sunderland. So him being back in training, that could be another option off the right.
Yeah,
well.
Really excited to see him back, bro. And what do you reckon, Jono, on the whole Anthony thing? Do you think he should be dropped? Do you think Pellistri should get a run? What are your thoughts?
I really rate Pellistri. I think he deserves that chance. I wonder if we just obviously a lot going on in Anthony's head. I wonder if we kind of rushed him back too early, which is, I love Ten Hag, but there's been a few occasions with players with injuries as well that we have rushed players back too early. I'm not sure if he hasn't got the players that he needs, if that's the case. But that's obvious that is happening. We're rushing players back too quickly, which needs to stop. It might have been better if we played him for 3 or 4 games in the under-21s when he came back from the court case and everything. If we played him there for a bit, got his head back into football before putting him into the first team, I think that might have been a good idea. What's your thoughts on that, guys?
I think maybe circumstances dictated that he had to be kind of rushed back. If you're losing games and you've got $100 million player playing in the reserves, how do you justify that to the director of football or the owners up the stairs? And the mainstream media would have crucified him for it. So, and I also think, like I said earlier on, it's Ten Hag's boy, right? Ten Hag will be talking to him day in, day out. And if he thinks playing him every week will help the boy, then you've got to kind of bow down to Ten Hag's knowledge of the situation. He'll know the nuances of the situation that we don't know. So, and I don't think Pellistri will get a run. I think if anybody gets a shot at right wing, I think it'll be Mason Mount.
I agree.
Yeah.
Which will be good because it means we don't play Bruno there again, hopefully.
No. And he can cross the ball.
Bruno should be banned from playing on the right wing.
Yeah, 100%, brother. 100%. You saw how effective and more inclusive he was yesterday, and he
Yeah,
came up trumps with the goal.
he finished the game well because he played deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Masood, on Anthony? In terms, do you think it's time to be dropped? Do you think Pellistri should get a run? What do you reckon?
Like I said earlier with Daza as well, I mean, for me, just mentally, he needs to have a break. And maybe, like I said earlier, he might have to just stay away from the Brazilian national team. Or I'm not sure if they're going to choose him anyway for the next during the next international break. So he can have a 2-week spell where he's just basically get his mind back right. Sometimes it's not a physical thing in terms of training and match fitness and stuff. It might just be mental. So hopefully he can work on that during the international break, and we can do that.
Yeah, brilliantly put. We have got a game coming up in the Champions League against Copenhagen. Very important game. We beat him last time out. We've got to win this game. I'll start with you, Killian. What's your thoughts? Would you keep a winning game team?
Yeah,
Or
100%. Yeah, keep the momentum going. Keep the more games they play together, the more gelling will happen. Yeah, I wouldn't change it, to be fair. I think as well, Anthony seems to perform quite well, and I know it's funnily enough where I'm gonna go back on my word, but funnily enough, he does well in Europe. Seems to perform very well in Europe, but yeah, no, I don't think I'd change anything. See how they go on, and yeah, I take a 1-0 all day again. I don't care about the performance. I think just grind out another 1-0. It's going to be difficult. Obviously, Champions League night away, with the opposition fans up for it and all the rest. But no, I think we should have enough to get through with the 3 points, and yeah, fingers crossed we can do that.
Do you think there will be any rotation though? Because obviously we've got Luton coming up at the weekend as well.
Yeah. Possibly, but this is a must-win. So I don't see him taking too many chances with this, because we can't even draw. I don't think we have to win it. So it's a sort of a season-defining game again. It's like a cup final again for us. So a good point with the Luton game, obviously, but yeah, no, I don't see him changing too much. We know that Ten Hag, when he sticks to something, and unless he absolutely has to change it, bar an injury or whatever it may be, I can't see him changing too much. I think he's going to go for the same team, and I think we'll just scrape another win, and that'll do me.
What about you, Des?
I'm slightly different, Killian. I think he'll make 4 changes. I think Varane will come back into the team because Johnny Evans can't play 2 games in quick succession like that. I think Amrabat will come into the team. I think Reguilon will come into the team. I think Rashford will come back into the team. And I think Anthony will stay in the team. That's what I think. In terms of any other change, I don't think he'll make any other change apart from that. The other thing that's worrying me, and it's in the background, is the goalkeeper. Because we're going to lose the goalkeeper for a bit of time soon. And Alder's not had any minutes at all. But I understand the problem we've got is you can't give him minutes, but you're going to have to give this kid minutes.
I thought he was going to play against Newcastle. I was surprised he didn't.
So did I. I'm surprised he didn't, Jono, because this kid needs minutes in front of this crowd. He needs to feel the pressure of that. He's wearing the number 1. He's given the number 1. So he needs to feel the pressure of that jersey. But yeah, I think Varane will come into the team. Varane, Amrabat, Reguilon and Rashford will all come back into the team. I'm not saying that's what I would do. I just think that's what he'll do. I think that's what he'll do.
Yeah, no, very good points, does it?
Do you think we'll get the result?
Oh, I think we'll win the game. I think there'll be one goal in it. One goal in it. And I'm not going to say Rasmus because every week I say Rasmus, they didn't get a goal. So I'm going to actually go for. I'm going to say Marcus Rashford is going to score. Honestly, I think it's written in the stars. Frozen out this week, and let's have it right. He's been frozen out this week for partying because he was partying in Manchester. So he's been frozen out. He's been slapped around the head, and it's payback time. And I think we'll get a big performance. I'm hoping for a big performance from him against Copenhagen because we need it, and we're due it from him.
Yeah, 100%.
Masood?
I think what Kilo and Daza said, I go the same. In terms of team wise, I agree with Daza. In terms of result wise, I agree with both. It's going to be a close game. I mean, Bayern even struggled to get the win there. They eventually got the win late in the game, so it's not going to be an easy game. So it's going to be a 1-0 or 2-1 job, but not a high scoring game. And I think Copenhagen will be up for the game after the missed penalty at the end of the game at Old Trafford and stuff. So we're going to be in for a very difficult game. But I think we should just squeeze a result. And for me, we will get a 2-1 result or something. That's my prediction for the game on Wednesday.
Very good, Masood. What about yourself, Jono? Or Phil? Sorry, Phil.
I've been called worse, don't worry. I'm tend to agree with Daz. I think there'll be changes made. I think Rashford will come back into the fold, and I think he'll score. It's a perfect opportunity in time for him to come back in and redeem himself, so to speak. I think you'll see Mason Mount start because I can't see Eriksen starting for the third game in a row for a full 90 minutes. And I do genuinely think Varane will come back in. I think that's one of the reasons why I think he was on the bench yesterday, because it's such a big game that we need to win. On this one, I think he's saved Varane, but I think you'll see some changes. I can't see Garnacho starting, unfortunately. Result-wise, my heart says we'll win 2-1, but my head's saying I think we'll come away with a draw. I really do. I do fear for this one.
Oh, you're killing me, Phil.
Look, I've been really optimistic as of late, and it's backfired on me massively. Yeah,
do a Benno and say we're going to get hammered 3-0.
No, because it'll happen. Yeah, 2-1 I'm going to go for us, but yeah, it's a tough one to call this. It's a European away game. We've not been in great form. Yeah, sorry, 2-1. I'm going to roll the dice on this one. 2-1 win.
Good man, Phil. Good man. Keeping the faith. Jono, what do you reckon?
I think it's a hard game, but hopefully the confidence from picking up that win will get us over the line. I'm going to go 3-2. 2 goals from Anthony, and he's going to shut you all
up. Spicy, that.
So that's what's going to happen.
I remember last time we scored 3 goals in a game.
Yeah.
It'd be Galatasaray.
I see Bernard's going for the same scoreline as John. Well, he's going for 3-1 actually. Yeah. So
good man, Benno. A bit more optimistic this time. Oh god.
Hopefully it works.
On that, everyone else's predictions will be out on our Twitter and TikTok in a few days' time, so make sure you check that out. And yeah.
Jono, are we going to touch upon the other topic or we leave it?
Yeah, you can get started on that. Yeah.
So, the last point before we move off. So, the other day, one of our legends, Mr. Roy Keane, had comments for Bruno Fernandes, specifically stating he wasn't the right captain. Now, we all know what happened yesterday. And Bruno came up trumps as the captain and leader he is, and won us the game in Fergie time. Now, David De Gea online begged the question, but he's not the right captain. So we all know David De Gea and Ander Herrera and Bruno and Mata before that, very, very good friend. So obviously he was backing up a friend, which you'd fully expect him to do. Now, our brother Chase, unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, but myself and himself are gonna. Chase isn't the biggest fan of Bruno. He does support him, but isn't. He's a self-proclaimed critic of Bruno Fernandes. But I just want to point out a few things, and I just want to get this across because regardless of what you may or may not think of Bruno Fernandes, I think United fans need to acknowledge how lucky we are to have him. All right, so I'm going to throw a few stats out. Do a Daz on it. Statman Dazza, here we go. I'll rival you here, brother. So here, 200 appearances yesterday. Yeah. 124 goals and assists for a midfielder since he signed for us. The stats don't lie. That's undebatable. Absolutely undebatable. 67 goals and 57 assists. Incredible for a midfielder. Outrageous. 124 goals and assists and 200 appearances.
Most strikers don't even have that. And he's an attacking midfielder.
Outrageous. Like, he's world class. It's you can't debate it. He's world class. The figures don't lie. Prem appearances 135, 83 goals and assists.
Yeah, I know we have, like, in that time as well, I know we haven't been great over those years as well, and he's been our coach, like, especially before Ronaldo came. He was that man, and then Ronaldo came and it kind of, but every game he's starting for Portugal. And look at the team they got. Exactly.
Last season, 62 games. He played 59 out of the 62 games Manchester United played last season. None, 0 through injury, all through suspension. He's yet to actually miss, since he signed for United, he's yet to miss a game through injury. That's, you can't argue with that. He's an absolute warrior and a machine. Like, that's not human, if you ask me. So the guy is just outrageous. Post Fergie, I want to ask: can anyone name a better signing we've had since post Fergie?
Definitely.
Because I can't think of one. The most impactful since he, like, from the bat, since he came in, I believe he's been incredible. Now, of course, there's always going to be a time where there's a dip in form. As I stated in a previous pod, he's not Wayne Rooney. You can't really play him on the wing. It's like, it just, you can't do that. He isn't the type of player. He'll obviously do he'll do anything for the team. But my point is, if you're going to come for a player, I don't think you can come for Bruno Fernandes. We're talking about a player that's come in to a club in disarray, and he's been playing regularly with players that are a million miles away from the Manchester United standard, realistically, if we're being honest. Listen, I love Roy Keane. I'm an Irishman. I love Roy Keane. I need to get this across. He's the greatest leader and captain I've ever seen. But in my humble opinion, he's also a hypocrite, because he's calling Bruno Fernandes out for whining and moaning. We're in a different era now. Roy Keane was exactly the fucking same back then. He rollicked players. Referees and officials were afraid of Roy Keane because of this. Philo, go for it.
But don't you think that represents a decent captain?
It does.
Yeah,
It does.
so-
That's my point.
Yeah,
But Bruno
Yes,
Fernandes does
but
that,
what
but
I'm
we're
saying
in a
is-
different era now. So players can't take that criticism that Bruno dishes out, and people say, "Oh, why is he moaning all the time on the pitch?" You need to understand, Bruno Fernandes is head and shoulders above most of those players in that team, and when he plays for Portugal, there's so much quality around him. He performs so much better. So when he comes back to United and plays with players that are just not good enough,
But in terms
surely you'd get frustrated and angry when you're on the pitch and bitch and moan to an extent because you get frustrated. No?
yeah, I totally agree with that.
definitely.
But I think if you look at the players that we've got at the moment, there isn't really a standout candidate for being an out-and-out captain for me.
Yeah.
And
I just think it's sort of like the managerial job. It's an impossible job, to be fair. But I just think with everything going on at United, I think Keane being a self-proclaimed United fan, I thought it was very ill-advised comments to come for the captain in the current climate we're in at the minute, because we're in a bit of disarray and there's a lot of pressure, and like every single day it's a circus with a multitude of horror stories being strung across the media and tabloids week on week. So I just thought Keano's comment about our current captain was just a bit stupid in my opinion, and like he says Bruno downs tools. I stated this the last time. Roy Keane walked out in his country just before the World Cup kicked off and refused to return at the request of the Football Association of Ireland, the FAI. So to say Bruno downs tools, and
I
come
agree.
on, look at what you did in the past, Keano. I love you, but you can't. Don't be.
Can I jump in there
I don't know.
quickly?
I find it
Can
very
I jump in
difficult.
there quickly?
Jump in, Masood, then I'll come in after you.
Would Roy Keane have Bruno Fernandes playing next to him in the Man United team with Ferguson? What do you think?
I think he would.
Exactly.
I think
So
he would.
like you say, it's hypocritical of him. If Paul Scholes wasn't playing with Roy Keane, I would think the next best thing to have next to Roy Keane would be Bruno Fernandes. And let's not forget, he captained Portugal. He captained Sporting Lisbon before he came here to us. And he was petulant then. It's just the nature of the personality.
With all the best players, some of the best
Exactly.
players, there's a red mist and a standard that they just cannot accept if it's any lower. I do believe this is the reason Roy Keane failed in management, but because he didn't have the patience for players that were not meeting his standards.
I don't know if you
Wayne
remember
Rooney had a red mist. Bruno has a red mist. Roy Keane had a red mist. Peter Schmeichel, all the greats had a red mist.
I don't know.
Scholesy.
I don't know if you remember that before he signed for us, there's when the compilations of Bruno coming to United and all that, there was an incident where he got sent off and he went into the change room and he was kicking down doors and stuff.
Yeah,
United fans actually were happy with getting someone with that sort of passion. Now they're using it against him. So for me, it's like you say, it's hypocritical.
So I'll just jump in for 2 seconds, Masood, right? So
No problem.
I think I love Roy Keane. I think Roy Keane is
we all
one
do.
of, if not the greatest captain of our club. I think Roy Keane's been a bit unfair to Bruno. Is Bruno the greatest captain in the world? No, he absolutely isn't. What I would say is he's probably the best what we've got at the moment, right? And I think there's a difference between perception and perspective, right? And we are where we are. So Bruno had to get the captaincy because of a bad decision to give Harry Maguire the captaincy. So there's a knock-on effect. So we are where we are. I understand what Keano's talking about when he talks about, midfield generals and all this, but that player doesn't exist anymore. Modern football's moved on. You don't have players running about punching players and kicking players, and it doesn't happen anymore.
100%.
I do think Keano's been a wee bit unfair. When he's talking about down tools, what I think he's talking about is in games like the Liverpool game, where for 20 minutes, Bruno just disappears and is petulant just to kick players and moaning at his own players rather than just grabbing the game by the scuff of the neck. But I think that's signs of a novice captain at the club. I think he's learning. It's a role. It's another role on top of being a footballer. So he's got the captaincy. You can't really do anything about it because I don't know if taking the captaincy off him, you would have the same result as what you got taking it off Maguire. I think you'll then lose the player. So yeah, I think it's a role he's growing into. He's learning. He's learning. So yeah, is he the greatest captain in the world? No. But we are where we are. He's the best of what we've got. And
that's a question then for all of you. If Bruno wasn't the captain, who would you give the captaincy in that current squad?
Leacher for me.
Yeah, it's Leacher for me as well.
No one else.
Yeah.
I think if Varane was fit, I'd give it to Varane. But
he's not fit though. He's never fit.
Yeah.
You can't give it to a player that's missing games week on week. He can be a co-captain or a vice captain, no problem, but has to be Leacher for me.
I think in time, Onana's got a shout.
Yeah.
He's got the mentality for it.
Yeah.
He's certainly a personality anyway.
Kobe Mania.
And we did well when we had goalkeepers as captains. I mean Schmeichel.
Pierre Schmeichel won the Champions League being a captain.
Benno's came in for a good one here. Luke Shaw.
No.
But he's not been playing as well, man.
No. Not in a million years for me.
Benno, I was going to say Shaw as vice captain, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think he's got
Sure.
cojones.
Sure, he's a vice captain, but he hasn't been around the squad at the moment. I'm not sure.
He's not fit enough.
Yeah.
Soft mentality. Sorry, bro.
And Benno's next comment's even better. Dan Gore's the future captain.
Yeah,
I agree with.
All agree on that.
Me and Benno can agree on something. So
that's 5 years down. That's 5 years down the line. That's 5 years down.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'll just give a moment to Xander, who's just spamming Scott McTominay in the chat. There's the Scott.
What's new?
Up the Tartan Army, brother.
Not in rugby though.
Oh, poor Xander.
You had to get that in, Masood, didn't you?
Look. I got 4 more years of this to go.
You've had 8 years now. Don't be greedy.
It's always good to be greedy.
Yeah.
Well, like taking us on a walk.
No, but we have to give Scott McTominay a lot of props. As we touched upon it with Harry Maguire earlier. Scott McTominay's come up trumps as well.
He showed a bit of that.
Him and McTominay have been
fortitude. He showed a bit of
Harry Maguire and McTominay have been the best players this month by far.
And yesterday his interview yesterday was brilliant after the game.
Yeah.
And he even commented on the banner that we posted today on the Mag X account as well. Play like you mean it. And he said that inspired the players before the game as well.
Yeah.
By the way, they shouldn't need that banner though.
No, they shouldn't need it, but I suppose they need to kick up the backside in this last few weeks. So
yeah, they need to take responsibility. And Eric Ten Hag's sitting in the trenches getting shot at left, right, and centre. Those players are good enough to win some of these games that they've lost. So,
and I think it means more to the players if it comes from the away fans, because that's your core support. So those are the guys.
Country, by the way.
Exactly. So those guys go through the trenches with them. So for it to come from them, I think it resonated with the players a bit more as well.
Oh yeah, you don't want to start getting dug out by the fans. That's not what you want, man.
100%.
Yeah, big up to the away fans yesterday.
But definitely, John, I would throw Onana into that mix. I think Onana's been brilliant. I have to say that because he's been taking shots left, right, and centre.
Yeah,
let's give the boy props. He showed a bit of mentality, monster stuff,
Hopefully, we get another clean sheet during the week. Does it?
Yeah. Well, no, listen. The clean sheet is super important. But I'll tell you now, by the end of this season, Killian, you're going to need to go back to Turkey because He is going to give you bomb scare moments. He's going to give you bomb scare moments.
Oh,
you just need to accept it.
I think
You just need to accept it.
I think we'll get the result in the clean sheet against Copenhagen.
So do I.
I don't know if you saw Luton's game against Liverpool where they got the draw, and they're our next opponents. Our former United player there.
Maybe
Maybe
we'll get 2 minutes of injury time.
Once a red, always a fucking red.
Yeah.
I'm a bit more worried about that game. That's going to be a hard place to go, I think.
No, but aren't we playing at home? Are we playing at home that game?
Old Trafford.
Old Trafford, I thought it was.
I'm not worried about any game, John. I'm the most optimistic Man United fan out, man. I think we're going
I'm right with you there, Ezra. I'm right with you there, sir.
Yeah,
I
just
think we're going to go to
game by game.
Copenhagen. We're going to go to Old Trafford. We're just going to steamroll them. We just need to.
You love your life. You love your life. You love your life being eternal optimist and hopeless romantic. You'll never go wrong.
Definitely hopeless.
Definitely
hopeless.
That's just going to have us winning the Champions League.
Oh, tell you.
Mate, I go into every season think we're going to win this. We're going to win it.
Fellow, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, once we're in it, if we're
in
in
it, until
we can
we're
win
out of
it. Always believe.
Kilo,
we just need a bit of luck.
Kilo, before we finish, I just want to mention you mentioned something about making things out of molehills earlier. That's the name of my FPL team, Mountain Molehills.
You won't be me, bro.
Mine's just 92 FFC.
Mine's mounted at the top after the signing of Mount. It's not really helped. Anyway, this has been your Mag 247, your home for United news and podcasts. Thanks for coming on, guys. We will see you next week. Up the Reds.
Thanks, everyone.
Up the Reds. Good night.
Give us a follow.